Hey everyone, welcome back to Tokyo After School Summers, another discussion covered by me, and joining me today, Harvey Kais.
Hello.
Good to have you here again. I think my sound balance is fine. But yeah, unfortunately the others have died, so we will be visiting their funeral later. So it's just me and Harvey. Let's go ahead and cover the topics now. We're going to be covering first off some of the evolutions that had released a bit ago before this event started. So we'll be starting off with Christine's evolution. Whenever you're ready, Harvey, go ahead.
Right. I don't have an opening clip for this, so I'll just start.
Oh, right. Go ahead.
This Givo is somewhat less impactful than her previous Givo, which helped her a lot with her board riding capabilities. So if you weren't aware, her previous Givo buffed her CS damage by around 50% thanks to her new weakness modifier, and also enabled her to potentially cycle her charge every 3 turns. And her recent Givo does 3 things. The first thing it does is give her evasion at phase start. The second thing it does is apply status onto enemies every phase start that inflicts 4k flat damage to them every time they're hit. And this lasts 3 turns. The last thing she does is White Slash buff removal at a 70% rate after moving. So the flat damage effect is probably the most interesting part of this Givo. This alone does more damage than the flat damage and Echo's current get with her Givo, but it's still not a great effect by itself. There's never really an incentive to use her in flat damage combo-based teams before, but at least it's not a conditional effect, unlike Shadowbox Givo, so you can just slot her in if you don't have those other options. The phase start evasion is kind of whatever. I don't think there was an incentive to have her get hit ever. And in fact, it might go against her on leave mean skill. So, rest in peace that. But if you need her just to stay alive, I guess she has that extra bit of survivability now. And her new move effect is probably the least impactful part of this Givo. She didn't have any move effects prior to this update, and you shouldn't have a reason to move her now, considering it's at a 70% base rate, and it doesn't even match the range of her weapon type or her CS range. So, all in all, this Givo gets a thumbs down from me.
Oh, well, I kind of see what you're going for with it, actually. I mean, you're not going to be farming with her more than you usually are with this, but, like, I think at least the evasion kind of complements, like, the dazzle and possession in terms of letting her mitigate damage properly now, since usually when she has her charge up, she can't do that. That's like you board wipe, or if you don't, then, like, you die, and that kind of essentially just makes the pull pointless, since you're just making them kill you faster, but at least in this way, you're pulling them in so that you can just eat damage safely with evasion, and then you can, when they're pulled in, remove all their buffs on the subsequent turn. So it gives her, you know, a bit more utility outside of her first board wipe if you're not just outright killing with it, which is quite nice. It makes her, you know, in my eyes, less just a unit that's just for the one board wipe and then she's dead weight after, because she can hold her own and also stall a lot better now.
I guess. They didn't really touch her possession gimmick at all, though, so that's probably why I was not that interested in the stall strat that you were talking about.
Her position gimmick? Sorry?
Her possession.
Possession.
Her possession. Yeah. It's still not the same.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. I mean, Dazzle's still there, right? So it's like, you're rolling for 2, but even though they're both kind of shit. It's weird, but it's something.
I guess I can see some use in challenge quests where you're running the flat damage on hit meme, and they're taking more than 1 turn to die. I don't know. I just think there's better options for that type of team.
I mean, yeah, I'm just happy that Christine is no longer just lives and dies by her first charge. She has actually a bit of an excuse now to build up her later charges.
Yeah, I understand that they're trying to like branch out these turn 1 board vipers and give them unique gimmicks. Like Yuma has other answer his team. And Christine now has this sort of flat damage / debuffing type of gimmick, which is fine. I just don't think it's as useful as the other board wipers that we have right now in the game.
Well, yeah, she's by numbers the weakest board wiper if you don't have like multiple dupes of her. And if you're collecting dupes of someone, you're probably better off collecting someone like Yuma at that point. But yeah, all in all, I think it's like, sorry, I lost my train of thought there, but I think it's nice that she has a bit more use after turn 1. And as for the actual flat damage effect, I kind of don't think too much about it. You can kind of stack effects on it like in the footage, but it's kind of a meme. It's not bad. It's not like poison or some shit like that in very least, so it's somewhat usable.
It's more impact than her movement skill.
I mean, remove all buffs is okay.
It's 70% base rate. She doesn't have like glint in her kit.
Listen, if you're not killing with her board wipe, then at that point you're not farming anyway. So let's just see it as like a challenge effect.
Challenge effect? Are you serious?
It's there to work sometimes to remove guts on turn 2.
It doesn't even match her like weapon range or her CS range. It's like fucking white slash.
I mean, they're pulled in for the second turn, I think, is the idea. Right? Okay, you don't
why is it at a 70% rate?
Because it's for challenges only. You don't farm with it.
Oh my god.
I don't know what to tell you. It's there. It kind of synergizes. It's not like completely nonsensical, but it's also like not real viable. So that's just the evasion's nice at least. All right, we can move on.
God. Why are there so many comments now?
Yeah, they all jumped out. You want to read them?
Sure. Didn't know people cared so much about Christine. Hi Ara, it was at Harvey Neanderthal. Actually, yeah, it does have some synergy with main quest Jarl. Oh wait, you said Neon, never mind. Ignore me. Oh my gosh, is that Christine? Hi Jer. Hey all, just use Perun. I agree. Or Yuma for that case. Anyways, I got my king on my second ticket pull. I won. Yeah, fuck you. Hey yo. Stream Elements bot running. Hi. Oh my god, Stream Elements bot, my beloved. Stream Elements bot running. OMG, how to get out of jail. Stream Elements bot running. Never selling for king.
I actually don't know how it came alive. I have it specifically blocked in my list.
Huh. That with a vengeance.
Hopefully it doesn't stem
from SA 100. Is it really? Jesus. Beat milk to the punch. Slay Prisma, Yas. Prez, Slay. I repeat, Perun, Summer Oz, or Summer Shiva. You have options. Also, Slay, Lin, Slay. Hey everyone, Jarl's best friend actually helps him now. Okay, that's it.
Okay, thanks for covering that. So, well, I had a higher opinion of that. The next topic, which I'm covering, is not so great in my opinion. We'll be covering Babalon next. Okay, so reviewing Babalon's changes, she is another unit appreciating the new status effect, Vanity. She now applies it to the enemies she hits, as well as the enemies surrounding the enemy she hits, at an 80% rate, and she also has this effect on all enemies where if they do have that Vanity status, they take 2 times the damage than normal at phase start guaranteed. Besides that, she has protection to her adjacent allies on move phase end, so very generous timing, very low commitment, and it's also guaranteed, so that's quite nice for a passive tank. She has Stigma on short range when she is about to use her charge at 100 CP. Well, I'll get to that later. And lastly, she has an effect where when she departs, then the enemy will suffer an effect where for the one turn after, if they're hit, they will take 15,000 flat damage. So, her rolls has been updated now. She is a bit of an improved damage dealer just because of that Vanity advantage with her Vanity application. That now adds on top of her crit plus on phase start, her blessing advantage, which she applies was blessing, and her buff reversal that is subsequently activated by blessing. When she's hit. And also Fatal Poison cancels out that blessing effect, I guess. She also has that Stigma effect, but I do have a problem with that in the sense that she has nothing in her kit that actually builds up towards her charge, so unless you have some charge fillers in your team, that's kind of a dead effect, or pretty much it's an effect that is exclusively there to strengthen your charge. Besides that, she does have a bit of advantage, again, on charge versus paralysis on 2 times, so they really want you to get her charge, even though there's not actually a way to get it natively from herself. And lastly, and certainly least, she has that Berserker advantage of 1.5 times damage. Outside of this, she has improved her role as a damage mitigator. As mentioned before, she activates buff reversal with Blessing, although it's on different timings. She applies Blessing when she attacks, and she inflicts a buff reversal when she's hit. So that stacks on top of the curse, and paralysis on charge if you happen to get that. But now you also have protection on top of that as well, at least to allies. Because of the way that her damage mitigations work, it seems like she's, at least in this footage, you can see I'm trying to do what is suggestive of her kit. Essentially, she's become a kind of sacrifice candidate. Of course, one of the effects are exclusive to when she dies, so that you can apply flat damage to the enemy. A decent amount, 15,000, that's like nearly countdown levels, and that's for every time you hit, so it's good with combo, well, which would be theoretically good here if Seth didn't suck ass when he appears and fails to give combo. But, what's it called? You'd think it would be contradictory to her mitigating damage, since that would just make it harder for her to kill. But because of the timings of the effects, she applies protection only to her allies and not herself. And the buff reversal, when she's hit, it won't actually mitigate damage for that first hit, because buff reversal is only applied after the damage is calculated. And in that sense, Babalon is a bit easier to kill than the teammates around her, while keeping her actual teammates quite tanky and surviving to actually exploit that flat damage effect. And lastly, she has the unmodified role of a healer with that blessing effect to allies as well. We're not going to talk about that. So yeah, she's kind of like a general purpose challenge unit now. I mean, she was that before, but it's a bit more effective now in terms of she has damage and healing and defense. And you know, if you're kind of a shit at the game, then you can, if you expect your units to die, it might be good to have Babalon on board, just so that when they inevitably die, you can do something thereafter. You might want to enhance her sacrifice utility with Vapula, like in the footage. You could also bring out some units from the back that are actually good coming from the subslots, such as Christine or Kima with their board wipe, as well as their late buffs, respectively. And of course, you may want to exploit that effect with combo. But again, all this is kind of just not great for challenges in general. It's there as a general utility, but it's also kind of like she's restricted by her low range, so it's not gonna be great. She has good damage, but you have to like wait a few turns to get all her different amps and whatever up, and you have to find a different charge fill to exploit that effect up. So it's like she does things, but is it like worth it? For some challenges, she's an okay job if you're okay with slowly moving a thrust unit across the board turn by turn, and inevitably dying. Other than that, you might want to exploit her vanity weakening with someone like Arathun, who applies vanity every turn start on the board. Of course, it's technically redundant since she applies vanity herself, but with that way you don't have to think about a board wide amp. But then again, there are better board wide amps out there that you don't need 2 different units to just get that one effect off. So, food for thought. That's all I have to say about this woman. Have anything else to say, Harvey?
Not too much. Is this the highest HP decrease effect on attack?
There's Chernobog's freeze thing, but that's it.
Chernobog is 10k. This is 15k.
Was it only 10k? Huh.
Yeah, I just checked.
Well, there's near last attempts. I don't think it was 20k or even close to that, but the combo definitely adds a lot to it with the extender range.
Yeah. So I guess that is a decent finisher, if nothing else. Yeah, I think Babalon just suffers from being thrust range mostly, but also not having any CP charge effects also hurts her quite a bit. Yeah, it's like a decent Skivo, but also Babalon just kind of sucks in general, so this isn't really enough to make you want to pick her in most challenges. Yeah, I don't have too many thoughts on her. It's just, yeah, those are some effects on a very bad unit.
Like, I don't think in isolation it's horrendous, but it's like, just with the existence of the other units that does so much other things at a much greater range, like, to, you know, more instantaneous timing, it's like, just through comparison alone, Babalon's just like, why would you ever use this unit after so many other better units? If you do have her and you're like just starting the game and you just got her by chance, then okay, sure, it could help.
You say that until they pick Summer Shiva from the support slot.
Well, yeah, they could, but if they're a beginner player, then they're gonna be picking like either from their friends, which are just randoms would accept them, or from strangers where they're like, which Summer Shiva work on? Allies? I guess it would. It's just that they wouldn't be able to refresh it with their charge. But they'd have to be smart enough to pick it up, I guess. So for the people who aren't watching this and don't know how to play this game, then Babalon would be good for them.
I guess.
But yeah, that's the last little defender. It's dumb.
That's still a 5-star unit. That could have been someone else.
Well, and really, she's not as bad as she was before, because 2 times damage amp is just nice to have in general, and also passive tanking is also nice to have too. The other things are kind of memey, but whatever.
I suppose.
Okay, I'm gonna go read out the chat. Let's see. Why use those when you can use Amy? So true, I use her for everything for some reason. She's good. Well, she's good for memes.
You have a problem.
She just, like, she's good at doing that and synergizing with the random trash, so... At least she isn't suffering from Kimun syndrome. Kind of, actually. I guess you're right. Technically, Babalon is better than Kimun by, like, an okay margin. Stigma balls.
I'd hope so. She's a fucking 5-star.
Well, it's not a high bar to clear, but yeah. Congrats on Babalon escaping shit hell. Because she was like the worst 5-star arguably for a while, besides Slave, I guess. Does this mean that Mikhail and Amaterasu took 15,000 damage in Chapter 8 and had to recover till this year? That's kind of funny, I guess. Took me a moment to process that. Incidentally, they don't actually have like an attribute advantage against Babalon, which is kind of funny. More used than Kimun, useful. Not Life Wonders making her a good candidate to die. You're joking. I think that is kind of lore-wise. She's supposed to be some sort of sacrifice. I don't know. It doesn't match Babalon herself, but maybe it matches the Harlot, which is like 2 different entities apparently. I had to look it up. Genociders grieved for real. No one alive to finish them off at 1 HP. You could just, I don't know, bring Kirito. More used than Kumun, useful. Not Life Wonders making her why am I reading the same shit? I was wondering if they ever will release a buff equivalent of Vanity, then you remember Spirit exists. Yeah, it's definitely shit, but Spirit's like 2 turns, I believe, so it's not quite as spammable. You're better off just spamming some random obscure buff effects like that one Tsukiyomi AR that gives like a darkness resistance that only lasts for 1 turn, something like that. Spirit Strengthening 2025. Actually, I think some of the units, or actually rather Bigfoot specifically, will have a lot of those 1 turn buff effects, so we'll talk about that much later. Husband Esports. Live on the Tindalos channel, the Spirit meta. Thank goodness for Summer Oz. He's feeling more and more like a crush for units with bad attack ranges, almost like an extended apology. I mean, as good as Oz is for challenges, it's like kind of comfortable. Like, he's not great for challenges. This is just like the farming cope as usual with Leannon, but you know, yeah, he's still good. But like, I'm appreciating that they're kind of just leaving it at that and exploring other options to be good with this game, like with that, which we'll talk about later. Your strange addiction, using Amaterasu for clears. I feel you. I'm with you there. Rant was watched, guys. Streaming it's got a skill evolution. Yeah, we're gonna be talking about the next one right now, which is actually really quite good, I believe. And Harvey can either agree or disagree with that. You can continue on with Suzuka now. Go ahead when you're ready.
Not gonna comment on the grandpa comment from Joe.
I'm just gonna take over the pride of this one. You guys have been calling you that a lot. Like, whatever.
The dementia is setting in.
Shut up.
Alright, Suzuka. She does even more damage now. So yeah, she got a pretty hefty upgrade, making her one of the few viable white slash units for farming. And has a 4-star to boot, so that's quite impressive. So first of all, she gains a 2x modifier for the first 3 turns of the fight, as long as she is not debuffed. And this is coupled with her ability to remove a debuff after attacking at an 80% rate. So this is a convenient trigger timing for her if the enemy responds to a debuff, since she'll most likely remove the debuff in time to maintain her non-debuff strengthening for her next target. And she also gains a new effect out of nowhere, like Christine did, but this is a lot more impactful than Christine's because it actually amplifies her damage and her weapon range. And it's at a consistent rate too. It's still not the greatest effect since she doesn't have any expanded movement, and it's her only major effect on move besides Glint. But it's icing on top of an already solid kit. Do you have the numbers for her damage right now? Like, without crit.
Let me check. Without crit? Actually, I do. Let's see. Suzuka does, without crit, 17,000 damage per square, so perfectly within the range for farming, since 10,000 is kind of the threshold for defeating enemies. But, like, with her crit plus, it actually goes up to 82,000 damage.
So yeah, actually quite solid even if you whiff her crit somehow. I think... Right. Where was I? Oh, wait. So, while the Skivo itself is pretty good, she probably won't be the optimal choice for relevance to priming stages, because you might need the crit for her for that damage. But she's like a tier above like our current Cope roster for clearing. She's not exactly a bad pick for challenges either. You'll have an incentive to use those more HDQ specialized units to prevent debuffs like Pazuzu or Main Quest Gnarl. And the latter is actually quite good for her for farming as well, because she really wants to get in the middle of the map, and you might want that extra repositioning. Actually, the new Zhao kit will probably help with Suzuka's range problem, so that's quite nice. And we'll talk about that in a bit. Yeah, pretty good Skivo, I'd say. But other than that, I don't think there's much else to talk about.
That's fair enough. I do think she's kind of just like... She'd be kind of boring but good if it weren't for the fact that there's just so little long slash or, you know, front row clears in this game. And half of them are just like board wipers in disguise, like Yuma or Tajikato, who aren't really used for long slash farming. So it's nice to have like some more dedicated ones, since it's like currently just Suzuka and maybe like 2 other units like Mikhail or something. And it's on a 4-star, which is like she's doing significant damage, and on top of that, like she has a lot of challenge utility, which you wouldn't expect to, because she still has her other shit about like reducing damage with curse and reducing enemy charge fill, but she also just does like a ridiculous amount of damage if she does get her crit plus off, making her quite suited for bosses as long as there's like enemies beside them. So all in all, she's just like good for a lot of content for getting extreme numbers reliably.
Yeah. What were the debuffs in the Chapter 14 attack list again? It was like
Confusion and darkness.
Yeah.
She can remove one of them at least. So it's like it kind of helps with making sure that she is always at her peak strength, but you know, it's not guaranteed since sometimes she'll get 2 buffs at the same time.
Yeah. Kind of yucky. I thought there was obstruct in one of them. No, wait. That's in another quest, I think.
That's when you hit Oscar, I believe. So it's like she's not hitting Oscar from back there.
Yeah. So yeah, she's like I said this before, but yeah, she's like a tier above like the Cope roster, I'd say, because of she's like 85% consistent in that quest, I'd say.
She's better than what roster?
Like the Cope units that people are using right now.
Oh, can you give some examples?
I don't know. I was in the Chinese tier list.
Like Israfil or shit like that? Or the sudden Himavat?
The fucking, the rat mob.
Why is that there? Are people really investing in summoners just for like a mob-based charge? That's funny.
I mean, if it works, I guess. But yeah, that's a lot of investment to make a mob work.
Yeah, for those that don't know, there was a recent tier list that was shared from a community that was outside our own, from Chinese Housamo players, and it was definitely fun to talk about. And it had a lot of quirky things, we'll say that much.
Interesting tier 0 picks.
I mean, Zhao ended up being on tier 0, so we'll eventually talk about that. But if that's it for Suzuka, you can read the comments if you want.
Alright. Are the visuals? It's okay, Ara, we still love you.
When I forget to switch for like 5 seconds, these guys start yelling, swear to God.
Suzuka's skill ain't on the screen. The visuals. Sorry, explosion 4 times. Okay, we're back. Suzuka is better than Summer Taji now. Not like it's a huge accomplishment, but it's better. It's nice that a Forcer can do it. I'm not sure about that. I think Taji has like a better base damage, but Suzuka does have that utility of removing debuffs off herself on attack, which is probably relevant.
Yeah, definitely more relevant for Chapter 14. And also 4-star, so you can just fit more shit with her.
Oh, he's not beating the allegations. A White Slash unit doing possible damage consistently, but blasphemy. JK. I was adding Kumano footage since I forgot earlier. Ara in his flop era. Pat.
I hate you guys.
The fuck is that emoji? Like, sipping tea. This Givel will make farming the wide map on Kabukicho Halloween rerun less awful, so I'm loving it. Well, we're not getting that rerun this year. We're probably gonna get Halloween Police, so we'll have to wait a bit for that. Waiting for the Toji fans to carry my farming and Halloween Police. What about Halloween Alp?
Oh, I just realized, did you actually talk about the glint part being extended to allies?
Oh wait, was it to allies? Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's like almost irrelevant, but as a matter of fact, it works decently well with Anfari since that can guarantee his break. So kind of like meta relevance for such an obscure effect.
I guess. I'm still a bit iffy on moving her because she has no horizontal movement, but it is a thing that exists, I suppose. At the very least, we can say Suzuka, Slay, Nail Polish, Sparkles. I already have Halloween Alp, the Rat. I want to see the Chinese tier list. Any pictures of the Chinese tier list? I want to see the results. OMG, I want to see it too.
I can try to share it in a second, but I'll just have to cover the next topic first.
I could probably link it. The Discord image links work here, right?
I don't. I mean, they should, but I'm not sure if it'll be blocked. I don't think I have anything blocked, so you could try.
All right. Yeah. Could you link to that tier list? Light bulb, sparkle emoji. This chat's awfully active for an event like this. But I guess these are like your dedicated viewers, so whatever.
It's good to have them around.
Carefree.
Please hold. I'm gonna look for it too, actually. See if we can share it on screen if we find it.
I linked it.
Good. Is it below? Is it there? Good, it works. Good. Alright, so for those who are interested in reading on it, it's a bit illegible, but yeah. It's there.
They could have split it up into like 2 images, I think. But...
It seems like they took 2 screenshots of someone's stream based on like the quality of it and the what's called the dimensions. So we'll just have to make do. Okay, so yeah, you guys, we are gonna be moving on to Himavat. Hopefully this video footage works this time since I just pulled it in now. Yes, it works. All right. Thanks for covering Suzuka. We are finally talking about the new units of this batch. This is... What's the next topic? It's gonna be Kumano, right? Why do I have Himavat next? Alright, go ahead. I'm gonna go talk about Kumano now. Is it me? Sorry, I'm having my dementia error.
It goes Kumano into Himavat.
I have it switched. I hate this. Alright, I'm gonna talk about Kumano now. So Kumano Gongen is the new freebie unit that was released slightly later than the banner's release. Not that it matters, but you know, you can't actually get this unit as a result as a drop quest item, so you have to redeem them from the item exchange. So important to note, if you're wondering where's your Kumano, you need to actually go visit that. He does give a boost. Go ahead and explore that, and it is like decently worth the exchange. Like a lot of the more recent freebie units haven't been like amazing, between what's called Reprobus and what's their face, the Godozaemon. But this one is actually probably our strongest welfare unit yet, just going by damage alone. So just a heads up, he does have 2 debuff sources to self, which will be relevant to another effect later. He applies burn to himself on arrival as well as on charge, and he applies conflagration to self, which, for those who don't know, activates those burns so that when they do have burn, they take an additional like 3 sets of damage, I believe, flat damage, when they're hit. So essentially, he's becoming more and more vulnerable. He takes a lot more damage every time he's hit now, all because it's native to his kit, which would be kind of like very stupid if it wasn't for the fact that his entire kit is designed around making that into his advantage. So he is his one and only role, very direct, no wastage here at all, is as a damage dealer and damage amplifier. So he does have some team damage amp that can be applied to both himself and his allies. Let's see, his vigor is, and his attack up is only to allies. He applies vigor every time he's debuffed. As a reminder, he has 2 different debuff sources. So he applies vigor to allies encircling, and on charge, which he can't really get, he also applies attack up to 2 square diamond radius. For what's called the amp that both him and allies can exploit, it will be a burn advantage. He does apply burn to the NPC hits, which also spreads to the units beside them. And if he attacks those units, or if like the people that are encircling him attack those units, then they will deal 1.5 times more damage, which is, it's small, but it's there. And it's mostly just a bonus to the other amp that he personally has. So he is a risk scaling damage dealer, which means that he is encouraging his own self to actually jump into the fray. He pulls the enemies in with his face start pull, and applies limit to self, so that will complement his what's called his propensity to want to take damage, because he does take increased damage with burn and conflagration, and he can do it safely because he actually starts the game off with guts and can refresh it every time he's debuffed, again with both conflagration and burn. He also his burn itself actually activates a strengthening effect he has on himself, where if he has burn, he deals 2 times more damage. So again, he can get burn on himself every time he arrives or whenever he uses his charge. And because he is a welfare unit, he will be getting the full effect of run, which he also applies on his charge at artifact level 100. So make sure you get all copies if you're gonna want to use his full damage. And, just make sure he doesn't actually get denied. He does resist charm, which does work towards his damage dealing. So to give you an idea of how much damage he can inflict, at full HP, he can deal 14,000 damage, so perfectly within range for farming, since 10,000 is the threshold. And if he's at near 0 HP, it's like 28,000, so just double that. If he does have his charge, it goes from 100 HP at 61,000 damage per square to over 100,000 at 120,000 damage per square if he's near 0 HP. So very, very streamlined utility for just this one purpose of dealing damage. A pure offense unit. He does actually, kind of like Kengo, have utility as a with guts tanking. He can refresh guts or reroll for a chance at refreshing guts every time he's natively debuffed with his 2-turn conflagration. You may also try to bring him on challenge quests that have a lot of debuffs natively to reroll for guts even more. Besides that, he can benefit from allied charge fillers because he does not actually have any effects in his kit that can boost his get his charge ready, despite a lot of his kit being behind that in terms of it making his damage even more extreme. So you may want to consider that. You may also want to consider allies that apply debuffs, such as those that have that new vanity effect to allies. Quite nice. He is, however, incompatible with debuff deniers, so if you're trying to somehow mitigate or refresh conflagration more often, it's a bit of a bad play because you're also going to be getting rid of his burn, which is a part of his huge damage source. So as a result, because you shouldn't be bringing him with debuff deniers, he is also kind of, as a result, vulnerable to skill disablement. You can't really guard against that, because if you do try to guard against it, then you're also guarding against his own strengths. So just watch out for that. He's still vulnerable to that, but he otherwise can still get a lot of damage up. He does have potential for farming in select wide maps, but just because slash range is kind of small, it's kind of like trying to farm in tall maps with thrust units. It's gonna be limited and only situational. But yeah, that's all my thoughts for Kumano Gongen.
You have a lot more thoughts than me, because the only thought I had was that his kit is a lot better than Himavat's kit.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of a very low bar to overcome, but yeah.
I was surprised that they give him this niche debuff based kit on a welfare. Usually those are on some random 4 stars in the banner that we don't care about, but it actually kind of works in him because we have access to getting him to SALV 100, and he does a shit ton of damage for welfare, so
yeah,
that is nice. I think, does he do more damage than
Yamatsuchiga? I think he's the next strongest, isn't he?
Oh, maybe.
Who did you say before I cut you off? Sorry.
Astarte.
Astarte does 0 damage. The fuck? What? I'm pretty sure they only attack up, and then maybe you can exploit poison if you're doing some stupid channeling shit. But it's I'm pretty sure attack up's their only amp, isn't it?
I thought they had a weakness somewhere.
It's 70% or some trash if they do.
Okay, well, my bad then.
Well, part of the reason why Kumano is good is because his damage is also very reliable. I forgot to emphasize that, but yeah, very good, so that you can actually use it for farming and he won't do some stupid whiff shit.
So yeah, how much damage does Yamasachi Yuko do?
Well, I didn't calculate it, but I remember he like had maybe 2 amps. One of them was like break, the other's a vigor. Let me just double check. Yamasachi Hiko, why is your name so fucking long? He has nourishment on self as well as concentration and break. Oh yeah, he has quite a bit. And vigor, holy shit. Okay, Yama might still be better, honestly, but Kumano does have, what's it called, more potential damage on his charge. And he also has that potential for solo carrying with that guts spam.
Right. I think Yama has decent defenses too, though, because he has like tenacity on move phase end or something.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's the one thing I actually remember about Yama, his defense that's just passive. So much so that I actually kind of just completely forgot about his damage numbers.
Well, yeah, regardless, these two are probably going to be the most relevant Wilford units, at least for challenge quests. So.
Well, for damage anyways. I do think there's some other really good ones that aren't very damage based, like Arachne, but maybe that's just me. Which I'm actually currently using in this footage since she gives a stupid amount of CP every time she hits someone.
Alright. I remember we were having a convo about CP charging in Samakor, or like it was related to Enigma or something.
I mean, she does it better, because it's like 20 CP for every enemy hit. So that's like, hit 2 units, they're already half filled, versus Enigma's like, it's the entire team, but it's only 25, and it's also only for the first 2 turns. We'll talk about it later. That's spoilers territory for now. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and read out the chat. Where are we at? Go out, check out that Chinese tier list. T0 means it's the most relevant. You can see Zhao's on it. It's very interesting, and that's honestly might have been the main reason after seeing that why I ended up like wailing so much after to get Zhao and then got him last. Jesus. We're bored, so it's better to make jokes. Plus, engagement is good for the stream. Yeah, I'm glad you guys joined. Mirth like, you just realized you didn't get the new unit you need to grind for. Isn't it Ankin? Who? Anshin? I'm gonna skip over that. Let's hope developers doesn't strike Koso next and we get a 5-star Kumano ARs in like a week. I think we're just gonna have to wait until the next reprint for Kumano to show up, because I doubt he's gonna be too relevant. Shiva Enabler, you like? Is he a Shiva Enabler? It's just like 1.5 times damage jump, isn't it? He doesn't actually apply burn to his allies.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are...
It's, well, he applies the advantage against burn. So
yeah, but it's like 1.5 times only. It's like...
I mean... I guess it's like you don't need to move him for that, so I guess it's a good path. I don't know.
It's just better sources. Well,
I mean, he gives vigor too after debuff, so
I guess it's not too reliable his vigor, but it's serviceable. I mean, it's just better source. Just like invest in fucking like affiliations at that point. Like, Shiva's already overkill. Free damage though, we'll take it. For a welfare unit, most reliable Ardor and Vigor spread on demand is really nice. Wish that burn effect was on a turn start to avoid losing a turn of Vigor though. Yeah, that's a good point actually. That sucks. But let's see, what's the turn count for it? I guess by then, Conflagration should go off again on turn 4 probably. I mean, it goes off every turn, but I'm saying like it should expire at the end of turn 2. Should it expire on turn 2? So on turn 3, Conflagration should be reapplied. So he should have like 5 potential turns of Vigor uninterrupted. What is Kumano Gongen even supposed to be? Volcano Spirit? Not really. Actually, I kind of associate in Volcano because fire and mountains, but apparently Kumano Gongen refers to like several deities worshipping one of like the 3 mountains in Japan, and I couldn't find anything on it, but it seems that the research file of Kumano Gongen is referring to some sort of serpentine dragon-like fight where fire may or may not have been used. So I couldn't find anything on that, but apparently that's where his fire design is coming from. Ancient mountain deity. This one in particular is ancient from Kiyohime's story. Oh, well, Gazer seems to know. Burn, baby, burn. In the most famous version of the story, Ancient turns out to be an avatar of Kumano Gongen, and his bio it says his dragon parts as a result of Kiyohime's lingering feelings. I see. Shiva gives himself burn on move. Yes, I got that. Alright, we are going to move on to the next topic. So now we're talking about the banner units. Starting with perhaps the strongest of them all, Himavat. Perhaps. Go ahead, Ree.
Woo! Himavat. Bar fans, are we eating? Probably not. So, this guy has a bunch of different trigger timings, and all of his effects do different things in a not very cohesive way, in my opinion. So, we'll go by them by order of when they trigger. So, on appearance, he applies defense up to himself, and he has 3 effects on phase start, those being freeze resist in a diamond radius, concentration in that same diamond radius, and a unique status on enemies that decreases their HP by 1.5k if they remain stationary. And the latter effect lasts 5 turns. On turn start, he has a 10% chance to inflict freeze on the board. After the move phase, he bestows freeze when attacking. After the move phase, he bestows Anchor to himself and adjacent allies and applies flat damage strengthening in a 3x3 range at a 60% rate. Himavat has a 70% chance to inflict freeze when attacking, and when he's hit, he rolls for freeze again at an 80% rate, as well as attack up. And finally, when he leaves the board, he gives 6k HP to his allies in a diamond radius. So that is a lot of nonsense. So realistically, he'll only have 2 relevant parts of his kit, those being the phase start, concentration, and the diamond radius, which is virtually the same effect as the Game Master's Welfare AR. And the other relevant effect is probably the flat damage strengthening, maybe for challenge quests, since this is on a 4-star and it's technically refreshable, even though it's at a shit rate. His personal damage is quite inconsistent for farming. He won't have access to the attack up, so he needs to be hit for it, and the freeze on hit is only at a 70% rate, so he won't even have that amp all the time. Yeah, it's kind of shocking how middling this kit is. Not even middling, it's pretty bad. If you watched Ara's review video for this banner, you'd see how he ranked it at like half a star, I think.
Generous of me, yeah, I know.
We were talking about Insano Court, and we were like, well, he gets some brownie points because he technically has some useful skills, so even though it's replaceable by like fucking Welfare AR. But yeah,
you know,
there are worse units. So that's why he gets half a star.
It reminded me of what we were just talking about with Babalon. Himavat's just like that in terms of if you like literally have nothing else and you're a beginner, then like sure. If you don't know how to play the game and you don't actually watch the streams, then yes, that's the target audience for Himavat. But it's
even then, I think it's just like kind of shit because he has so many inconsistent effects. Like really, 10% on the board ride freeze, and then he has like 2 other rolls for the freeze.
I mean, I think the idea is it's board wide, so it's like technically you could bring Himavat just to like re-roll for challenges for the freeze.
Yeah, let's use Smoky God and Himavat together. That's gonna end well.
60%. Wow. Yeah, it's not worth it obviously if for both challenges and for farming. It's like for farming, it's like you're not going to use this because there's already the Guild Master or what's called the Game Master era. Yeah, sorry, was featuring Jumpathon. And there's like so much other units that can do board wide amp easily with like Qinglong, who can also give concentration. So like, why Himavat? Like, really?
And I talked about it in Samakor too, but like fucking Christmas Tata has like triple the utility that Himavat has for farming. And like he's also more relevant in Challenge Quest because he just provides you with more consistent damage. And the board red pull as well, so like...
And also the potential for like recycling buffs.
Yeah, so I don't understand how a unit basically 2 years later has a kit like this. His only use for challenges, I think, is like the flat damage strengthening, and like maybe you can get a revive off with the Chinky Unleaving skill, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice that it's refreshable, but it's also at like 60%, which is pretty yucky. Like, you could probably just do a lot more with just a phase start effect on all enemies rather than just this local shit that's only 60%. So you're better off using like Halloween Kushi at that point.
Yeah, but at least people might think he's hot. I guess, I don't know, for human
sure
standards,
he's the opposite of that, but okay.
He's like okay looking and like bug, but like nothing to really write home about.
He's giving like mascot energy, if you know what I mean. Like an Olympic mascot, you just like see him.
I guess. Yeah. Okay. Air synergies? Yeah, I don't know.
Let's see.
I keep on thinking that he's fucking like White Slash range for some reason, but
he has synergy technically with Charnabug. Technically.
I mean, I guess if you 70% freeze on attack, yeah, sure, let's go with that.
Board wide freeze activation of the freeze weakening effect too.
That's not happening. He doesn't even give concentration to himself. I just realized he's so bad.
Yeah, there's no use case for him. It's literally just if your toolkit is empty and you're like scrounging at the bottom and it's like, I have this, and okay, just play with it if you have nothing else. It's like playing with a stick and wheel if you have nothing else in your toy kit. Trash. I don't say that very often.
Can we move on from this unit? Thank you. Can we leave off?
Yeah, please read the comments.
Where'd we leave off?
10%.
Oh, 10%. Wow, a whopping 10 whole %. What were Life Wonders cooking with this kit? They should have been stopped. Should have been an ape. Stop it, Life Wonders. It's amazing how world units are consistently either broken or useless. What a POS. Flat damage strengthening, but a buff to the 4 stars wrong meta.
It actually doesn't really strengthen it because it doesn't strengthen flat damage. It just specifically strengthens.
It's all the DOT effects. Oh yeah, it doesn't even synergize with his one stationary effect either.
His shitty Israfel effect.
1.5k damage is crazy. Who the fuck cares about that?
And it lasts for like 5 turns, which is 4 turns effectively on based on the timings of it. So it's like 6,000 damage only, which you have to wait for so long to get.
6k HP. Whoa, that's the same as his HP that he gives when he dies. That's crazy. He's just all around mid. I wouldn't even call him mid. He's actually bad. He'd be mid if he had like more consistent effects, but like he has like a shit ton of 80-70% rates and like the 10% rate. It's actually aggravating to look at. And this guy is supposed to be Zhao's rival. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I feel like he could have been like at least okay if his freeze was guaranteeable, but like even then, why did they do 70%? That's so stupid.
Society is concentration applied to himself. Well, how many ways can I apply freeze? Maybe it is pull for this guy instead of Kumano. I kind of wish he doubled down on that more. If only for the absurdity of it. Damn, he can't even make strong better. Dog shit unit F tier.
So true. Okay, we're moving on to the next topic, and things are about to get hot here. We're finally talking about the 4 stars, so we're eating good now. We're gonna be starting off with Tanngrisnir, I believe. Yeah, I'm just covering that topic. Let me just... Yuppers. Okay, so Tanngrisnir or Tanngrisnir, there's actually multiple ways to pronounce it, but whatever. Only I care about that. He, starting off the bat, he's a shot unit with type. Not that actually matters anymore in this game, but there are 6 buff sources, which is quite a bit, so I'm not even going to go through them. But it'll be relevant because he does have an after buff effect in his kit. So sort of relevant, not really relevant, but it's just letting you know he has 6 buffs total. So his main primary role, which is like a very good role, and he does it quite well, is he is a move-dependent triple column clearing centerpiece. So he will be taking all your moves, which is obviously going to be a high cost, but he really does it. What he offers in exchange is kind of like extremely good. So much so that I at one point put him on the same level as Zhao, which may or may not be true, but I'm kind of just numb from column clears at this point. But nonetheless, I'll carry on talking about what's so good about him. So to complement his what's called triple column clearing, he does have a bit of repositioning with his vertical movement. It's not going to help him on turn 1, but we'll talk about that later to fairy units altogether. But it can help you reposition units away or closer to the enemy in the very least. He is also going to be always able to move unless he's like skill locked or something, because he resists all movement disabling statuses. Very nice. And the most important part of his kit is going to be his bestowal, guaranteed out of the box, of weapon change to allies behind him. The weapon change is snipe and it'll last for 1 turn, so you do need to move him constantly to keep it up. But because of this effect, you can in perpetuity have 3 column clears in the back. But you know, why do you need column clears if there's so much column clears in this game? I guess that's part of the reason why Tanngrisnir might not be quite as good as Zhao. But the point is, he can make any unit column clears, even those that weren't like really designed to be them, which can lead to some kooky effects for the short range units that have like extremely strong effects to compensate for the low range, such as Miniaki like in footage. You may also want to like convert some front row clears or just boss killers such as Mikhail from the back. But yeah, that by itself is kind of very good. It's just a shame that Snipe has the 2nd worst penalty in this game. It reduces it by essentially a quarter damage. So he does compensate decently well with guaranteeable amps, both Ardor and Nourishment. Ardor is actually to himself. The spread is a bit different, but either way they apply to the entire slash range behind him in the exact same range as his weapon change application. And this is gonna be a particular point, but as I mentioned before, he does have trouble ferrying everyone in position on turn 1, which is important because if for this triple column clearing setup you do want to hit every column, it's not going to work out if you're like spawning far away so that you can't actually get your 3 other units to hit everyone. But what he does have is a nice source of personal damage, at least for the very first turn. As mentioned, he does apply Ardor to himself when he moves, not Nourishment though, unfortunately. But he does have this effect which is kind of peculiar. It is Infinitude to self after moving only at full HP. And the reason why this is peculiar is because Infinitude actually decreases your HP at the end of turn. It's also peculiar because like no one else has this status except for Kengo, so it's nice to see it on some other unit. But Tanngrisnir can essentially lose his HP in follow-up turn and will not be able to use it in any later turn unless you like heal him to compensate it. He does have some natural heal too whenever you move him at 300 HP, but that's also like completely countered by his natural HP loss every turn starts, so it's kind of like, it's such a weird design. I don't really get the point of that. I guess you're just supposed to constantly move him to counteract that, except he can't even counteract Infinitude by himself. So it's very clearly designed so that it's just there to function for the first turn, so that he can clear the middle column on first turn, and then properly ferry everyone on the second turn if you need to have your 3 column clears in the back. Tanngrisnir can just act as a substitute for that first turn, so very nice. He also does have some additional sources of damage, which is not as important, such as his break on his charge. He does have a minor charge at the time. As I mentioned before, he has big 6 buff sources, so that he can activate acceleration at an 80% rate. So kind of redundant. He just needs to activate once, but for kind of like a moderate boost, it's okay. 8 CP per turn for 3 turns, I believe. And he also has arousal whenever he's struck. It's there. He's not gonna get his charge very fast, but you know, it's there and working. So there's some kit towards it, and he is able to exploit that arousal more effectively by having tenacity to self on move, so he can safely tank a bit of damage, even though he's losing HP constantly. He does have a few ways to counteract his HP loss. As I mentioned, he does have that constant heal if he moves, which, you know, as it stands at that point, doesn't really counter anything, since it's just like running on the spot. But he does actually have HP loss reversal on his charge, which again is kind of not amazing to get, but it's there so that it would also it would reverse both the damage from Infinitude as well as his natural damage he inflicts on himself. And he also does have a bit of heal on himself on charge too. So yeah, it's like I said a lot of things at the end about him being healer and minor charger, but it's like none of that is really important. What's important is he can calm clear for 1 turn, and he can make everyone else into calm clears for every other turn, at least for the first sweat turns. The restriction there is important because that means he's explicitly designed for farming. Sometimes like failing a few turns, I guess, because most farm quests are only 3 or 4 turns. But yeah, 5 turns you're not going to be using this guy for challenges generally. But otherwise very good for farming. And that is all I have written for this dude. For his kit, let me see if I have anything written about recommendations. Yeah, so one of his weaknesses as a centerpiece column clear is that I do believe he's better than, for example, Eta, who is able to bestow shot range to his allies left and right of them, just because, unlike Eta, he's not dependent on slotting at all. So whether he's slotted last or first, he can apply his ardor and nourishment. Unlike Eta, who's like, he needs to be first to apply his ardor. And secondly, he is able to apply them guaranteeably, unlike Eta, which is like 70% ardor or some garbage like that. Unfortunately, outside of that, he doesn't actually have some other utilities that other computers have, like piercing or buff removal. The point is, though, that because he's able to coerce people to change the range, he can just have that utility brought for him by those other units. So if you need someone who can remove buffs, maybe you would want to extend the range of, for example, Ulam Batter. I think he does that, right? Probably. His variant, What a Christmas Range. Is that right, Harvey?
What about Ulan?
He can remove buffs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
yeah, he can.
He's kind of like, doesn't have the greatest utilities move anyways, it's like break or something. That's it. So you could probably just keep him in the back and have Tanngrisnir move instead, so that he can extend his range while also removing buffs. But yeah, I think that's all I've written. Yeah, that's it.
Did you talk about his synergy with Summer Barong?
I didn't actually.
That helps with those turn 1 positioning, and also buffs everyone in the front line, so you'll have enough damage too. Yeah, Tanngrisnir is kind of the MVP in the farming stages right now because Enigma is fucking useless without him, which is kind of crazy.
I thought it wouldn't be crazy for you at all.
Well, it's a 5-star unit in 2024. Come on, you can do better. Anyways, yeah, Tan is. I usually say that like we don't need to like make column clearing easier, but Tan's like really good at it, and it helps that like one of his best in slot ARs is the 4-star Summoner's Anniversary AR, which does help him maintain his HP so he can keep doing the Infinitude thing.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I really should remember to just think about all of the guild AR effects, or the what's called the booster AR effects, now that affiliations exist, or dispatches rather. That is the perfect AR for him.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just a really solid support unit, just all around. I'm not sure if like anyone needs him right now, but for people with a limited roster, he'll be really good because he can extend the range of like any thrust range or lower range units that you might want to use in tall maps. And it helps that he does come with his own set of buffs too, armor and enrichment at guaranteeable rates as well. So yeah, very solid unit, I'd say, and definitely better than the 5 stars that we have in this banner.
Yeah, I'd say he's like arguably kind of like Zhao, a 5-star kit. It's just that, you know, like for example, I do think he has like more use than say, or equal use to something like Barong or like Dongli or something like that, as a comp player that actually like has a bunch of utility effects that could be exploited as well. I just think that he doesn't shine quite as bright because it's kind of saturated in terms of there's so much substitutes to Tanngrisnir. I mean, he does make things a lot more quirky, but it's also like when he's standing next to Zhao, which we'll talk about soon, it's like Tanngrisnir seems like, you know, more of a good thing, I guess. Zhao seems like a solution that has been needed for like 10 million years. Even though they kind of have like the exact same utility, technically speaking, for their respective maps.
Column clearing hasn't really needed help for like 3 years, I'd say. So, but it is a unique gimmick, and it is a good gimmick to have because it's a very good kit, just in general. So, yeah, he has that going for him.
I might actually need to skill seed both Tanngrisnir and Zhao just because I like how generally useful they are.
Skill seed Tan. Come on, you don't need
the
them.
Buffs. The buffs. I don't, but you know, it's like candidate, right? It's there. I might.
Oh, bad. But, you don't even use them in farming quest because you're using like fucking mentors and summer environment.
Okay, what else am I supposed to skill seed then? Like, skill seed all my faves already. Jeez.
Skill seed? Did you skill seed the mentors?
I did actually. I told you I skill seeded fucking Sandayu at this point. It's like I never actually use him, but
Sandayu is poggers. Fuck you.
I have dead, so I don't know what to tell you. He's like permanent, like sub-slot princess. Tanngrisnir is good. You can read the comments.
You're reading it.
I can read the comments. Thank you. Thank you. I will. Let's see. Goat stew. Goat cheese time. Snipe here. Yummers. Actually very solid. Finally got that stew. Got tasty. We got weapon change sniper. Wow, everyone's saying the exact same thing in different ways. We got. Why couldn't they have given Tanngrisnir omnidirectional movement expansion? His 5-star version gets it when he uses this CS after all. Well, his 5-star is shit because he has to wait for his CS. So he has some compensation for it, which is fine. He doesn't need omnidirectional movement. Like horizontal would have been good, of course, but he has like a large part of his kit is designed towards compensating for that fact. Just like Masanori has his increased damage on turn 1 as well with his what's it called, attack upward, some shit like that. Concentration on rival, I believe, yeah. But yeah, he is. Sorry, extended movement is for the board is only available on 5 stars. Or Zhao, apparently. Otherwise, he's a solid unit, especially if you have HP loss reversal to let him keep the infinitude buff up after the first turn. Yeah, I mean, he has it on his charge too. You might want to do something quirky like put him in guild and invest in CP, but that's definitely too much effort just for that. The first turn is definitely enough for him. There's something oddly satisfying about giving 3-star blow units like Kengo a snipe range. I mean, you can definitely do better and give some 4-star and 5-star blower units that snipe range, but I totally get what you mean. To this day, both Miniaki and Taromaiti are my go-tos whenever I want to like demonstrate weapon change and how busted it is when it's applied to low range units. Yeah, it's kind of annoying at turn 1 when the allies are all clustered. Well, yeah, again, he's designed for clearing his own combat at that point. Also, remember when Enigma 4 could get infinitude for a hot minute? I think he was it Infinitude. I vaguely remember he was able to get like
it was the stackable one.
Yeah, the stupid one. Like, fucking, was it even possible at that time? We didn't have Turing, so like, oh, I guess he just copies Airbus, but that's stupid. Stupid. Just don't do that. It's stupid. You'd think at least one infinite unit would have the buff already, but nope, only Thor-related characters. Yeah, speaking of infinite units, what happened to that wall buff? It's like they made it such a thing and then it never showed up again.
We'll get more eventually. Trust the process.
Trust, sure. And Enigma, if you're feeling spicy. I don't know if they patched that interaction out now. They should have, yeah.
I don't think they cared too much about it, to be honest.
It doesn't even matter. It's like, you're not going to be using Enigma either way.
No one fucking uses Enigma.
Even now. Good long slash damage, reasonable willpower, and are saying a unit is better than it. What bizarre world we are in. Okay, you guys have some weird ideas about me at this point. For Scrap to know this. Jeez. Leave me alone. Okay, we're gonna talk about next force. You guys are bullies.
You're not beating the allegations.
Shut up. Okay, we're talking about Sound now. Very Poggers unit, and Harvey has the privilege of talking about him. Go ahead.
I offered to switch. All right. So here he is, the hero of the Chinese tier list, and actually for good reason too. So Zhao has a lot of powerful effects on appearance. One of them being board-wide brawn, so himself and allies, and the other being the coveted great movement expansion in all directions. This is the same movement effect as Main Quest Gnarl and 5-star Saf. So not only does he have the best repositioning capabilities on a 4-star, but he also has a shit ton of movement skills with it to boot. So Zhao applies break in the slash thrust range after moving, which mostly serves to amp his own damage, but he also bestows ardor to allies square around him at an 80% rate, which becomes 90% with his phase start glint. On top of this, he gives gut strengthening, which boosts CP at the end of the turn, arousal at a 70% rate, 80% with if you have glint, and 10 CP for himself after moving. So he has quite a good amount of CP related skills. His charge being a white slash nuke with crit, as well as giving himself movement expansion again. Well, keep in mind that this is only boosts his movement by 1 square, but it's still decent. And bestowing guts to allies around him. And if that wasn't enough, he also gives add-on 19 to allies when he's at low HP. So yeah, Zhao does a lot of things for 4-star. The reason why Main Quest Nara was like so good was because he had that repositioning skill every phase, and Zhao gets it on the first turn.
Which is the most important one. The most important one.
Yeah. But Zhao gets it on the first turn, and he also has a bunch of relevant movement skills for farming, such as ardor to allies, and also he'll be able to clear his enemies in his own range, as well as having another board ride amp for 2 turns. And by the way, if you didn't remember, the Chapter 14 attack quest is only 2 phases, so he's actually very ideal for that. But it's also surprising how much utility he has for challenge quests as well. He has he's able to give guts to his allies and also boost their CP with arousal and gut strengthening. And he's also able to, if that wasn't enough, he's able to keep them alive with the adamantine proc if he gets low himself. Or no, wait, that's above 30%. Wait, I'm lying. Okay, yeah, he's better than I thought, actually.
Are you gonna wail from him just like I did after realizing?
I already pulled for the 4-stars, actually.
Did he get them?
Yeah, I did.
Oh well, you got away scot-free then.
Well, not scot-free. It did take a couple pulls, actually. I think my tickets got wiped, and I'm done like 200 stones from it.
Just like, I hate the fact that I wailed for this character when it's like, it has fucking the 5 stars on this banner, which is like neither of them I like. And it's like, well, one of them at least for you absolutely hate, so it's like, what is this bizarre world indeed?
Oh my god. I just, I don't know, I thought the kits were unique, and that was enough for me to pull. Zhao being very good, I think he's like the most future-proof 4-star this year. Just because he has the repositioning gimmick.
I feel like...
Also, I failed to pull Main-Quest Gnarl, so that was more insensitive to me to get Zhao instead.
True. If I got him, I definitely wouldn't have pulled for Zhao nearly as much. Though honestly, Zhao even has perks over Gnarl in terms of having a damage amp.
Yeah, I'd say they're around the same power level, respectively.
I'm actually thinking that. I'm like, maybe I should actually rate Zhao 4.5. Like, he's actually insane.
It's fucking crazy how much utility he has for a 4-star. And then you have Himavat in the same banner. Like, huh? What's happening here?
Himavat had all his guilt taken by Zhao.
Honestly, it feels like that.
I feel like, what's it called? Strength aside, I really do like how Zhao kind of just has the potential to make a much... This is not usually the case for really strong units, but Zhao has the potential to make a lot of other units more relevant too. Just because, unlike with like fucking units like Oscar, who's just like you bring him and then you make slaves to him for that just give them a bunch of amps. Like at least with Zhao, you can have like a huge category of damage dealers with different ranges, so that they can selectively counter a particular map of a particular arrangement. And I think that's like really cool. That, you know, if you have Zhao, then a lot of the units that you haven't touched in a while, you might actually get some use now.
Yeah, technically you could have done this with the 5-star Sap, but Zhao actually has like relevant utility with Brawn and Ardor.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not using Sats for his protection or nullify debuff or whatever that shit is.
Fucking the Adamantine has to be a typo. Like, there's no way they put that clause in to be over 30% health. It's like,
you think it should be less than?
I don't. It's just so much. Fucking Brawn, Ardor, Adamantine, and they're all like guaranteeable too. It's crazy, dude.
Yeah. Be like me and lose your mind and end up wailing for this trash banner just because Zhao exists.
Alright, did you have any AR synergies in mind?
Right, actually, I keep on forgetting to read my other thoughts on that.
He's actually unaffiliated, so for any guild ARs, you'll need to dispatch him.
I mean, obviously, Game Masters goes without question just for concentration to add on to his strengthening effect. What's it called? He doesn't really need too much. Any of the amp ones is probably his best bet. It's not like he needs HP loss reversal or anything like that. I guess he could try to boost his CP up with the Crafter's one, but I was like,
oh, you can dispatch him to Warmongers and put the Warmongers around him and help you become a 4-star Mugen.
Alright, just to emphasize, a board-wide amp on a 4-star is so fucking stupid. Like, I'm here to let you know now, as someone who keeps track of every board wiper and board wide amp in the game, like all the 4-star board wide amps were just like shit rates like Bale, or they had like 1.5 times only like Tower Mighty, or they were just like locked behind some stupid thing like Afterbuff, or you know, with a specific status like Miniaki or Leaks. This is just like straight up a very rare buff that he applies to everyone that is like a full 2.3 times damage multiplier. And it's like, like fucking, what's it called? Dagon and Perrin crying in the corner getting attack up on arrival, which is already replaced by the fucking Warmonger's AR. You know, Zhao can stack on top of that with the Warmonger's dispatch that you're just talking about. Like, he's so stupid.
It's kind of wild how much shit this thing has. It's like kind of disgusting, actually.
I like Zhao. But yeah,
you still like him even after the art downgrade, though?
I like his kid. Stupid Baka. Okay. I only like you for your kid. This is the reason why he didn't come to me all this time, because you're me shit talking him. But yeah, useful for the attack blossom farm, the HP seed farm, and the attack seed farm. Pretty much most of them except for the HP blossom
farm. Anything that
yeah.
isn't tall map clearing, he'll be good on.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Do I have anything else written? No, pretty much everything I want to say I've already said. Zhao's so OP. Maybe if you don't have enough stones for him, save for him during anniversary. He might actually just be worth like pulling for now, because I can't even imagine them making better units for whatever the third summer event or whatever you want to call it is. Because, like, yeah, this was ridiculous. The 4.5 stars for sure, even though I said 3.5 in my head. I'm brain rot, okay? Like, I changed my mind. Damn it.
Jesus Christ. Are you gonna make a comment on that video? It's gonna be like, by the way, Zhao is actually 4.5 stars.
They can just watch this shit. I'm not doing that. I will update my reviews for anniversary though. So look forward to Zhao being very weirdly at 4.5 stars as just this fat fuck 4-star out of nowhere while sitting next to like 5-star shit like Enigma and Bigfoot. They're not that bad, but like next to Zhao, they're pretty bad.
I still can't believe how hard you U-turned on Zhao when you saw his art, and then now you're like, I just spent.
You can see his art. It's fucking mid as fuck. It's like, it's not even him. It's like his voice is so different too. Like I saw the comments on YouTube, like, oh wow, it's just like the same. You know, they're keeping the spirit. No, it's not. It's completely different. He doesn't say Wandervogel at all. He's completely lost his charm. He's now just like some dude when it comes to his voice. Like literally, who is this? But his kid is good.
It's because he's blue now.
Too much Undertale.
Is that it about...
Yeah, that's it. Thanks for listening to my rant, coming to my TED Talk. You can read up the comments.
Right, I'm doing that. Where were we? Okay. The irrigations yeah, exactly.
Awful.
Don't worry, I won't reveal your biggest secret.
What do you mean? Don't say that as if there is a secret. There's no secret. What are you even talking about? Shut up.
I am the holder of power here. Alright. I'm happy that Zhao's last Blaze of Glory is a good one. You guys had me thinking you were calling me for a sec. Yeah, hello, fat fuck. Right? They definitely sending him off on a high note. Well, they could have given his art that same high note, but, you know, I won't complain.
It's the art text that he exploited by getting the shittiest art so that he'd have the most like ridiculous kit.
Okay, well, is it worse than the designs for the new humans? I'm not sure.
The new demons?
The new humans for this banner.
Oh, well, I don't know. Just like fucking, they're pretty fucking awful, honestly, but it's like, it's just like a whole separate world when it comes to twinks. I don't like, if they suffer, that's better for me. So it's like, if they have awful art, it's good for me, you know? So it's like, I don't care.
Alright. Oh hey, the best Paramount mover in the game by a country mile. Only big complaint is that he isn't a long slash unit, considering you're going to be using him in wide and giant maps. Yeah. Well, you'll live.
Yeah.
I had something else to say about that, I think, but whatever. Zhao holding out his hand like, hand over your raids. I play on his happy trail. I see Ara had the same experience I did playing for V-Tane. Hopefully he didn't spend 900 stones against Zhao, at least. Jesus Christ.
Jesus.
He got off scot-free.
Okay, listen, I'm a largely free-to-play player, so I know it's like a relative less suffering, but...
You cleared the banner, come on, dude.
Okay, but like... Couldn't I have cleared a different banner? Like, I know Tanngrisnir and Zhao's good, but if I'm wasting my 5-star, like double 5-star luck, I don't think I've ever gotten like a cleared banner before, have I? I can't even remember. But yeah, like I'd rather get like a double 5-star, for example, on that, what's it called, fucking chapter 13 prologue banner. It would have been good to get Walter and Telter there. But instead, it's for Enigma and fucking Bigfoot. Are you kidding me?
At least you weren't me, because I got a Takamaru dupe.
Jesus.
And I'm feeling like that fucking headache cat gif right now.
I think I got Takamaru off banner too. Such a poorly aged unit.
I know Irby did too on like a previous banner. I forgot which one it was. Might have been the chapter 15 banner. Ara, did you put him on War Members Ready? Ara had no guild as badges, I think. Yeah,
I've been using them for like optimization. Like he's a candidate for sure, but I still need to wait for a specific map to farm woods for him for me to consider that. Dispatches are like very selective at this point.
That's still fucking insane to me how you just have a budget.
Yeah, that Warmonger suggestion was crazy. I probably will just because of how stupid Zhao is already, and that adds to it.
Alright. He still says Wonderful on the title screen. Zhao is still hot but annoying. Mountain. I like his art though, Ara. Yeah, his art's good here. Oh, you have...
Listen,
You're the contrarian
it's like...
now.
It's okay, but like... Have you seen his like 5-star art? It's like... hot. This is like fucking... What's he doing? His fucking pinhead here. And overshaded. Looks like he has those SpongeBob fake muscles. Like, what is this? It's like... it's like he's going a step down. Just like his rarity went down, his art quality went down too. Like, what is this? Like, if you were eating good before with his art, what is this shit? Like, seriously, he doesn't even look the same.
It feels like a different unit to look at.
Yeah, like, I'm getting used to it because I'm seeing it so often now, but like, in my mind, I know Zhao's like this, you know, thick Moai face guy. Here he looks like fucking the human Sona of Heilong Yichuan or some shit like that.
He got reverse Botox, lip filler, etc.
No. Okay, and my suffering. Let's just move on to more suffering, actually, which for a good reason. We're gonna be talking about the 5 stars now. Sorry if we kind of preface that with the lowest of expectations, but you know, it's only an inevitable result with how amazing those 4 stars are. So that's the only consolation. Just remember, like, they're like, the coming units are okay, they're just not, like, they're not even in the same planet as the 4 stars. So, Bigfoot, I'll be talking about this topic. So heads up, he does have 5 buff sources because he does have an after buff effect that is actually something that matters unlike Tanngrisnir's. So he has a few turn start ones, concentration, ardor, and reflective buff. And he also has move phase and dazzle resistance and darkness advantage, both 1 turn each, so spammable. And on charge he has crit plus and razzle. You don't need to know the details of that, but just know he has 5 in total, so he has an okay round. So, first off the bat, he does have an early rate up effect. Actually, it's not even early, it's just pretty much permanent as long as you skill seed him. Concentration itself, which is every turn start at 90%, and as long as that's up, which he should always have it up, then the rest of his kit is actually more reliable than it seems at first. So, we should talk about his quick charge, which is his actual first ability. For every buff he receives, which again he receives 5 natively, he has a 50%, you know, effectively 60 because of concentration, to give himself a 10 CP. And, you know, that's like an okay rate, 70% if you skill seed him. But he does have some other effects on top of that. He does have a 10 CP to himself and all allies every phase start, which is quite nice. I haven't had a board-wide CP effect in quite a while since, like, Hichimura, honestly, or Dead. And besides that, we also have... We can also see Arousal and 10 CP to self and allies 2 squares around on charge. Outside of this, there's also the Ardor effect. It's not going to help him get his charge, but once he does get his charge up, then that Ardor will help just a tiny bit, give him his charge further, since it gives 5 CP per turn. To refresh his charge, that is. So he has some ways to both get his charge up quickly and to re-get it up back faster. So this is actually kind of peculiar as a kit. I don't like how strong it is, but I do like the concept of it. He is, in my opinion, falling in an archetype that kind of hasn't really been explored too well. It's only been like, when I think about this archetype, the totem archetype, I only think of like Furufumi, pretty much his 4-star, his base 4-star. But essentially, he needs to be at full charge to work at his best as a totem, which means that he doesn't really attack or anything, or rather, you want to be missing with him if you want him to apply constant barrage of effects to both the enemy and your allies. It's a broad category of effects, from damage mitigation or dazzle to which is going to be board wide if it's at 100 CP and guaranteed, to concentration to allies if he's at 50 CP or higher at a 7% rate. Not the highest rate, but it's there and it's spammable every turn. And also Ardor at move phase and at 100 CP, which is like, again, you might want to just use his charge, but you have to remember his charge is like extremely low range and gonna be pretty much unuseful for boss killing. You're better off just keeping him unused since you can get Ardor and Concentration and that board-wide Dazzle, and Reflect debuff, quite a powerful debuff mitigation effect to all your allies at 100 CP. If he doesn't have his full charge up, he does still have some lower strength totem abilities. Like, he still does apply Dazzle at just at a lower rate and a lower range of 3 times bucks ahead of him at move phase end. He also permanently just inflicts Dazzle independent of his charge level, and that is also within the same range of 3 times 2 bucks ahead. 80%, not very reliable, but he also gives advantage to his allies as well as himself to darkness every turn start to the allies encircling him. And lastly, among his totem abilities, he gives Dazzle resistance, which lasts for 1 turn to himself and allies encircling him. So those effects like that is pretty much like, it's kind of whatever. You're not going to be suffering from Dazzle unless the enemy has Reflect debuff or it has Dazzle, but it's not much of an issue. Its main existence is obviously just so that you can trigger the after buff effect every turn. Outside of that, to more like delineate what his purposes are, to reorganize what I just talked about, he's a tank and mitigator. So he has his Dazzle effects. He has his darkness effects. They both are minimize damage, and darkness also denies our charge. So together, that's like a 4-fold damage decrease, which is quite nice. And he can also just permanently deny debuffs with the Reflect debuff, and he also just permanently resists Dazzle along with the same as well. He also acts as a damage amp and damage dealer. As I mentioned before, he has team damage with Ardor to self and allies, darkness advantage with his darkness application at a low range, and Dazzle resistance to make sure his damage keeps itself as high as possible. His personal damage comes from his concentration and crit plus to self on charge, as well as his personal damage advantage, which again he applies either nearby or to the entire board depending on his CP level. And lastly, he can also just buff his allies with concentration. So that's just a different way of reorganizing what I already said. So my recommendations, like as I said, he's a totem user. Just keeping him back. He's not gonna be. He's kind of mediocre for reliable players. He's excellent for longer challenges because if you just decide to mess with him constantly, you are getting like a lot of utility between like board-wide damage mitigation and constant debuff mitigation and amps, and even right up with concentration sometimes too. And it's very easy to get his charge up. It's not going to be instant, but it is going to be like easy to get up. And it's also, if you do decide to use it to kill an enemy, you can get it back up fairly quickly, but generally you don't want to be using it. You're just going to want to heal him back. So I kind of like that archetype conceptually. I just don't think for the 5-star it worked that well here. But yeah, that's all my thoughts on Bigfoot. I like the concept, kind of weak execution.
Yeah. You really needed more impactful effects, or at least like a better way to reach 100 CP, because right now he's like way too reliant on his teammates pulling most of the weight. And I don't think it's really worth slotting him in those kinds of teams. You're better off using just some raw buffer most of the time. Also, dude, they need to start blacklisting thrust range units from 5-star kits. It's getting out of hand. This is dire, I think.
It can be done right, but it's like,
who was the last decent 5-star thrust unit?
I want to say Chinglong, but he was below, and technically he shot, but
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
like, thrust in itself doesn't have to be bad, but like they always make them bad. I don't know what to say.
We were talking about a thrust 5-star in this discussion too, and her name was Babalon. So
yeah,
really speaks about how Life Wonders treats this weapon range.
I do think, at least for this archetype of being a totem unit, thrust is kind of like the perfect range for it in terms of if you want to commit to it versus if you actually want to use an attack. Like, I think the last time we had a unit like that was like Huma, but then they killed it off completely with his Evo. So conceptually,
I don't know. It's like there's better ways of making the do I want to commit or not archetype, besides using probably the worst weapon range in the game. Like maybe something if stationary. They already did this.
We have quite a few if stationary switches, I'm pretty sure. Like even
they
Oscar.
did it on his fucking base 5-star actually. Like turning him into all range if he doesn't move. So,
yeah.
I guess I don't know.
But we have a few examples of that already, so I appreciate it, at least them exploring this archetype of, missing versus hitting. And just, again, they kind of underpowered it, so whatever.
It's so bad, dude. He's gonna hit like one person. He's gonna lose all his shit.
Well, it's Bigfoot, so I don't feel too bad. It's whatever. Has everyone read chapter 15 yet? Bigfoot's fucking awful. Like, he deserves this kid. Fuck him.
I don't know. He already got a bad or middling kit on his base 5-star. He could have had a little more on his range, I think.
Well, this is definitely a little more than his base 5-star. It's like
is it?
Marginally better.
I don't know. I think I prefer the board wipe thing.
You have tons of board wipes, man. What the fuck?
And and he's better at doing damage, so
it's like break or something and 1.5 times advantage. I don't know about that.
It's on his CS. What is his current? What does his variant CS have? Fucking crit plus and arousal.
I mean, crit plus works if you want to use it.
And thrust range.
Well, it's easier to miss. That's the point of this kid. It's like you're criticizing him for being not a board wiper. That's kind of unfair.
But what if like there's one enemy that's close to him and it's at the top of his thrust range? Yeah, because he wants to be in this fucking weird ass. Once you're adjacent or like.
Okay, fucking. You could say the same thing about like Zhao or some shit like that. That doesn't mean Zhao's a bad unit.
Zhao can hit things, but Bigfoot wants to miss half the time. So what's the play here? How do you position him?
You take care of the weaker chumps by missing, so you can get a bunch of effects off at first, and then when there's stronger enemies left over, then you can fuck them over with Bigfoot charge, I guess. Maybe.
That's so ass.
Kind of. I didn't say it was a great strat, but it's like, again, they just undertuned it. I do want them to give it another go since they haven't touched in a while, so it kind of like decently works here. It's not great, but for a beginner, I could see them not understanding how any kits work and then feeling like Bigfoot's their strongest character they have just because you don't really need to know how he works to get him to work at his peak.
Honestly, this is like the most 4-star kit I've seen on a 5-star unit.
It's not that bad. Maybe Enigma. I feel like Enigma's is worse than Bigfoot's.
It's pretty bad. I don't know. Because I know he has like 2 amps, but one of them's at 70% and it's conditional too. Like, yuckers.
It's like reflect debuffs good every turn though. Every turn, it's guaranteed, isn't it? It's nice.
If you miss with him, yeah, but you're not. You have to fucking position him really.
Look, I'm already bringing units like fucking Gongen to constantly miss just for his protection and nullify debuff.
Gongen is slash range. You can just keep him one tile behind.
I think it's gonna be hard to miss with trust. Well, I guess
if there's like an enemy at the front all the time, I don't know.
It's possible to constantly miss if you're playing in a large map. Okay, fine. Well, fine. I'll stop the constellations. Bigfoot's kind of midfoot. I agree.
Big cope. That's what he is.
It's fine. I get to cope because I have him, unfortunately.
Yeah. Congrats on the banner clear.
It's like the one meme where that kid wins the contest and confetti's everywhere and he's just staring into the distance. That's me. Alright. I'm gonna go read the chat. This is my topic, right? This is my topic, totally. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Here's the indicator. Let's see this. It's not good. His face is scary. It's kind of giving Yandere a bit, yeah. So you BRB getting water. Don't tell it. Well, how? Okay, whatever. Welcome back. Hey, whoa, Zhao still better than Heilong, even with his mid art. I mean, Zhao is much better than Heilong, but yeah. If you mean art-wise, okay, yeah, for sure, even that too. OMG, is that your Bigfoot? No, it isn't. Blocking arrow. It's Lynn's because his is fucking busted. So this is a bit unrepresentative, the footage you're seeing. As strong as Bigfoot's charge seems to be with the, like, board-wide charge, it's like fucking artifact level 100, so it's like... it's not necessarily the truest example of how your Bigfoot will play. We could have opened with 5 stars to end on a higher note. I kind of just ended with the 5 stars so that I would attract people who watch just for their favorites. Giant bait, honestly. Bigfoot tried to copy Kirito's kit with curious results. Definitely curious. We took notes. You'll get it next time. Oh yeah, I forgot to emphasize that it's nice that you like, in the very least, Bigfoot is like extremely low committal. He does not require any positioning requirements. He doesn't need to be slotted first to take advantage flex, and he doesn't need to move at all either. So, you know, even though his effects might seem kind of undertuned, in the very least, he's like so low committal, you can just throw him somewhere in the back while someone else is moving, and while you have like full free reign to position units in any way you want with Bigfoot in the picture. You'll get it next time. Good luck. Summer Bigfoot sure is a unit that exists. At least he isn't Himavat or Enigma. Honestly, I feel like he's around the same level as Enigma. Maybe Enigma's slightly worse, but yeah, it's like splitting hairs at that point. He's lucky he's cute. He's okay. Oh, I got it. He's obscuring the enemy's damage because he's a cryptid. I mean, I guess, I don't know. You could kind of make the script out of that. I kind of made a script out of like his original 5-star kit, where he like breaks the enemy's cameras, or I don't know, it's some shit like that. Don't overthink it. Bigfoot, my lovely and cute milky moo moo cow. Most normal Bigfoot fan. I'm just happy I finally have another entertainer's unit that can replace Holly Toji. That took you a hot minute, huh? Fake 5-star unit. One step closer to the full entertainer's support slot. Trust units peaked with Fashionista Walk On. That's a pretty low peak, if I may say so myself. You can do better than Walk On. I'm pretty sure there's some better 5 stars than Walk On that are thrust range. I just can't remember any off the top of my head at the moment. But I swear to God there are. There must be, I swear. There has to be.
Start glazing Christmas Takamaru.
No, there are others. I know there are. I'll have to look at the list later. I swear to God. There can't be this battle lineup for 5 stars. Fashion Walk-On Peak Thruster. Maybe Valentine Gunzo? I would say Valentine Gunzo is actually better than Fashionista Walk-On, but practically speaking, I guess more people use Walk-On in the past.
He does more damage.
Fuck him, it's low shit crit range and...
You can use him with Summer Oz.
Until he gets his charge up. Yeah, and then his blow range and heals or something.
Ignore that. Use Baphomet.
No. Wrong base 4-star Fenrir. Or just mad love your king. You read chapter 15? You actually like Bigfoot even after reading it? He's the fakest fucking shit ever. Who can like Bigfoot after that? He's like, Bigfoot love you. You my love. Me have sex with you. And then at the end, he's like, yeah, it was all a lie. I was just kidding. Fuck you. Like, what? Fucking trash character. I do... What, do you disagree?
No, I'm just thinking about how Arch broke up with them. It was like, oh my god, I love him. He's so cute. Look at the blep. And then, like...
You read it?
he got turned off so fast when he read chapter 14.
Fakest fucking shit ever. Arky just keeps on, like, adopting these, like, fake shits. He needs better taste, I guess. Oh, God.
At least he's stuck with Vargas for a while, so I guess that's one thing he has.
I don't know, like, it's like... Vargas' writing isn't that good. I feel like he's just clutching onto it because everyone else completely destroyed his expectations. Like, you know, like, Vargas' peak writing, like, what did he even do in chapter 15? It was like, he was there, and he was, like, watching our armor or something like that, and then that was it.
He had more riz than Bigfoot. So.
That's true. I'll give him that. You do wish Bigfoot got more attention in his debut chapter. At least Kirito was fine to be gone for so long since he's been in the story since forever. I mean, Kirito actually got some decent importance. I believe he was one of the causes, actually both of them are the causes of the exception, so they were relevant in the sense of moving the plot forward. But Kirito actually did have that larger overarching plot. What was the plot this one? I can't even remember it anymore. Something about, maybe it was Mononoke who killed us in one of the past loops. Can't remember. If you want to win by with Bigfoot, you put Bigfoot on standby and never use him. So true. I mean, that's pretty much how you do use him as a totem. At least he's cute. The amount of disappointment I have for this event, the teaser page mentions Mountaineers and Yuma and thought ape like Yeti, but nope, you got one guy who low-key looks like he'll copy slurs out of earshot. He kind of does, yeah. He kind of looks like white trash. don't call me that.
I don't know, but that's debatable. Well,
just imagine him with like blonde hair and like is actually just white, and then he looks like he's a Chad or something. Like he's like on a yacht.
It's because of the blue eyes.
It's the attack of the neo-Nazis. Don't call me that.
Oh my god. You're never beating the allegations. Oh
what
my god.
allegations? What I need to know what these specific allegations are.
Mr. Leaked Stan. Alright, keep talking about
whatever.
How he's leaking out.
He's not related. He's connected to an archaeologist. The allegations have been settled for that. I will sue for defamation if you continue. Alright. He robbed me of Kirito and therefore should perish. So true. Using a stress unit and giant maps to ensure you miss with him. That's a good point. I mean, honestly, it's like, what are you gonna use? The alternative is using him for only small maps. It's like, we can't just have board wipers only on large maps with a bunch of buffers. That's why I like Zao as a concept. And, you know, technically Bigfoot kind of scratches that itch in terms of he kind of, you know, gives some other utility within large maps that's not just border wiping everything, but it's too weak at this point. Prez hates cows. Art-wise, yeah. Gumo. Mine's, yours was seeded with love and affection, so you should have used them. Well, this dude's Bigfoot was not only seeded, but also fully blossomed and also level 90, so kind of like, I think his love outweighed yours. Not an ape boo. Bigfoot's cute. I don't get why there is all the hate. Read chapter 15, and you'll get at least part of the hate. I don't think people generally hate Bigfoot as much as Enigma, but in very least, I kind of loathe Bigfoot just because of his rating. Not in the sense of like, oh, he's not in love with me, fuck him, but in the sense of like, he's kind of just like a... The big plot twist was he was like nothing at all, and they just leave it at that. They don't have to... I don't know how I feel about that.
How can he be nothing if he's all around, which is supposed to be everything?
That's a good question. He should have been null type at that point, since he like didn't even exist. Why is he even null type? That doesn't even make sense. Like, it's not even Bigfoot. I don't understand why he's called Bigfoot. He's like channeling him, but in like reality, he's just some dude. It's like there's like completely different lore concept from Housamo usually. He's like doing fucking Phoenix Wright type beat channeling. Like, I don't understand shit.
I cannot tell you, because I kind of skimmed over every time Bigfoot is on the screen.
Oh, well, giving a summary, he's just like, he's actually a shaman, he's not Bigfoot.
Yeah, I figured.
Then they were also like,
it's like,
he was just acting the entire time. All the affection, it was all like, that's pretty much all they said about him. And it ended like that.
Something urban legend because of Oscar or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, hate his ass. First bull, now white guy, I want to grow him in. Gunzo didn't peak until his second skill evolution. Yeah, I do mean after his evolutions. I do like his current form. It's still not going to be too relevant, but in very least, he is definitely someone I remember as the best acceleration user and one of the best progressive charge fillers in the game with a lot of safety. You got getting spoiled on that? I'm sorry, I forgot that some people haven't read it on yet. He seems pretty shady though on his introduction when we find out in the ending him helping MC wasn't entirely selfless. I'm sorry, yeah. Oh, I'm so careless. I shouldn't have said spoilers, but my rage got to me. Bigfoot just pissed me off that much. Valentine Toji is pretty good for 5-star thrust after his buff at least. Oh yeah, see? 5-star Toji. He's good. Valentine Toji, you see?
Oh my god, you're not.
What? What?
You can't be real. No one uses him because of his fucking thrust range. It's because of his broken ass double lock skill that he bestows to his allies.
Yeah, but he's not like an all-range unit in disguise or some shit like that. He's just thrust range, so it works, kind of. Even though you have to use him with 3-star Oscar.
No, it doesn't work. We were comparing, like, thrust range units who actually used their thrust range.
If we're talking about that, then unfortunately Bigfoot's one of the better ones, just because he makes use of the Whisk effect as well, too.
Disgusting. Not even good effects.
Look, it could, like, I swear to God, these units are situationally, like, extremely good, to be honest. If it weren't for the fucking quests we got. It's like, all the quests are just like bring board wipers who can remove guts, and therefore units like Bigfoot will never be relevant. If there were more quests that were like more survival type and wasn't cheesable with board wide, then I could totally see Bigfoot being a lot better.
Nightmare Jambavon clears every single 5-star thrust unit. That's all I'm gonna say.
What does he have? He has Karma Bestowal and 50% chance break to all enemies. I guess I do remember him more than any other 5-star.
He has like
trust.
Curse and then like
Extended movement as well.
And also Concentration Pistol.
He's like a Rage Summoner in this kid. I don't know. He's... I didn't get him, so I'm not gonna talk about him. I'm kind of salty I didn't get him after playing from after his Evo. More allegations. There are none. Cease with a hearsay. Mine is a fully Blossom 2. But is it fully artifact leveled? Are you sure you don't mean Chapter 14? Chapter 15 is still on Transient. Oh, I do mean Chapter 14. I'm sorry, I'm mixing up my numbers. Bigfoot love bombs you. He totally bombed for sure. It just works. How becoming what he despises. Sorry, I didn't mean to. I forgot. I hope it will be possible to make the units go above level 120. I really hope you're kidding about that, because really we deserve it, and stop with the crap of playable units have been between 6,000 and 12,000 HP. They should go to at least 300,000 HP. No, I don't think increasing HP is like... Wait, I'm not sure what you're talking about here. If you're talking about challenge quest enemies, they should definitely increase the pool for that, but that's not a good enough solution, because you just stack more damage with Willy or some shit like that. So it's definitely not enough to increase enemy HP. We don't have a problem with our own units' HP, so I'm not even going to talk about that. What about Nightbird Jumfun? Calm your brain rot. We were just talking about his kit and comparing it to other 5-star thrust units. Or just stick with Tautomite at this point. Yeah, she's probably like one of the best thrust units, if not the best one. I also haven't read Chapter 14 yet. Sorry! I pretend you didn't hear anything. Actually, Joe, fuck you. Do you actually like Bigfoot? Fake ass Stan. How could you not read it by now? Whatever. Alright.
Joe does not read or play the game.
Like, I retract my apology to Joe, because he deserves it and more. He deserves to have all his husband slandered and thrown in the dumpster. Okay, we're gonna...
Goemon and Bigfoot. Double whammy.
I read Goemon's story, and I am the biggest Goemon hater now. Just kidding, I just think he's bad. Okay, we're finally going to be talking about the last topic of this match. This is going to be Enigma, and it's going to be covered by Harvey Kais. Thank you for covering the last topic. Go ahead when you're ready.
Yes, sir. Who better to talk about this unit than his biggest hater? Okay, I actually didn't finish writing my notes for him, so at a point it'll just be me everything.
By the way, so Harvey specifically requested Enigma. This is how true his hatred is.
Alright, so he has Phase Start Glint, right? And so any rates I'm listing out are going to be using the 10% proc rate. So he has Board White Guts, so he's already trying to steal Labe's gig like the rat that he is. First 3 turns of the phase, he applies Bind when attacking and a square around the target. And he does 3 times as much damage to anything that he binds. Why they decided to lock this to the first 3 turns, I cannot tell you, because it does not really matter. Unfortunately, his damage is also somewhat gutted because he has Phase Dart combo, so each hit is going to be at 60% of the regular strength. At the very least, he has confusion on hit and onto adjacent tiles at an 80% rate. I still think that his attacks don't benefit from combo all that much. But don't leave yet, because his kit is split into 3 different roles. So Enigma has an on-miss clause as well, giving Ardor and protection to himself and allies in a diamond radius, as well as 10 CP in the same range. So with combo, that's going to be at least 20 CP. Except, so let's talk about why this is actually garbage. So needing Ardor to miss means that his only damage amp if he's constantly attacking is his bind advantage. And the CP pistol also contradicts his Ardor trigger, because you want him to be in an earlier slot so his allies can make use of his Ardor. But your allies also benefit more if your CP battery is in a later slot, because you can refill their CP after they charge. But they can't immediately CS if they get 100 CP after the movement phase. So, you know, which way now, Western man? Protection is fine, I guess, but it's the only defensive buff he has in his kit, and there are incentives to him getting hit, which I'll go over now. So his 3 effects when getting hit are a small heal to himself and allies, a 70% rate with Glint to apply the weakness to the board, and nullify buff to the target that's hitting him. So this would be fine if he didn't need to actually get hit to apply any of these things, because by the time you're getting hit, it's already too late to apply nullify buff to the enemy, because they're probably already applying their effects. And I don't want to talk about the 70% weakness bullshit either, because you know what's easier than getting hit to apply a board-wide damage amp? Just using a regular buffer and buffing your team's damage. Alright. So, I don't really enjoy this kit. I think it's just straight up an inferior version of Qinglong in every way. Because Qinglong has a similar bind effect, but it's Skillock instead. But you don't need to use a range extender on Qinglong. You can just leave him as shot range. And he also has more immediate damage amps in the Glint advantage and concentration. Meanwhile, Enigma has to get hit to apply weakness first. So that's already another point lost for him. Also, getting hit to apply nullify buff, as I said earlier, is going to be less useful than something like Purification, and not to mention, he only has 1 defensive buff to tank hits with, and that is Protection. Meanwhile, Qinglong has like Tenacity and Adamantine when he moves, if you need to tank something. And I already went over why. His Ardor and CP shit is contradicting each other somewhat.
Contradicting?
Because
it's like you have to wait to get the charge before they can actually use it immediately.
Well, it's like, so CP batteries want to be in a later slot because you can refill some CP after people CS, but you also want him to be in an early slot so people can make use of the Ardor trigger. Otherwise, it's just like Enigma support doing jack shit.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah. And that's also and you also lose out on like a third of his kit if you decide to either mess with him or use him to attack, so it just feels bad in general. He cannot bind people, and he cannot apply Ardor and Protection in the same turn. So that feels somewhat bad. I guess his CS is okay. It's CS lock and bind in a very generous range, and also a okay heal, but I don't know. He's not applying any of his on-hit effects or his on-miss effects if he does a CS, so...
I mean, he can still take advantage of the bind advantage, but yeah, that's like his only amp, really. It's snipe range too, so it's not gonna be that strong. It's pretty much just making up for that.
Yeah, so, and if you don't have Ardor for this turn, it's not gonna do that much damage.
Well,
not my favorite unit, if you could not tell.
I think after shitting on Bigfoot for so much, it's like I kind of forgot Enigma kind of did the same thing as a passive unit, who can attack and who can miss. Yeah, but now I do think that Enigma might definitely be worse, because his attack effects aren't amazing, and his miss effects, like his important one was protection, which is nice to have, and doesn't matter what slot he's in, isn't even guaranteed. So it's only guaranteeable for 2 turns. It's not great. And he needs to be hit, as you said, for 60% weakness, which is like, he doesn't have that much amps in total, to be honest. It's like Ardor and weakness are the only ones outside of himself, so it's like, these supportive things aren't going to be that supportive to your allies.
So on the first turn of an HDQ, you have the option of either binding a select group of units or using protection, but you can't really make use of both, which is...
Yeah, and it's like, I don't understand the turn restriction either. He wouldn't really have been much better at all, even if it didn't exist. And you know, you're just gonna Oz him anyways, but he's
it's not even a good Summer Oz target with like Onsen Miniaki in the game.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's one of the only things you can do to make use of him, though, because his passive strength is as a totem or like a miss hit switch or whatever you want to call him isn't amazing. The combo, as you said, doesn't really do much. Its only purpose really is just for him to miss so that he can apply a bit more CP, and only for the first 2 turns, which is like kind of whatever, honestly. The protection. Sorry.
Everything that he does, Qinglong just does better. It's like crazy.
He does a few things that Qinglong doesn't. He doesn't, like, for example, he applies guts, which is, I mean, I guess that's helpful since you're not going to be killing. So, and
oh my God.
He also has protection, which, you know, I'm pretty sure Qinglong, like, he might have some mitigation, but you can't use it every turn because he might, like, just prevent himself from moving. And
well, you can't really use protection every turn either, unless you want to ignore like half his kit.
I mean, not half of his kit's kind of mid anyways, so... What does he do when he misses? It's literally just protection and ardor. I thought
protection, ardor, and the CPU thing, which is, as I said, not very great together.
What'd he do? Why would he use this unit? Actually, Bigfoot's just a lot better. Like,
it feels so weird. Like, do you want him to be in an early slot for the ardor? It makes sense, right? Because you want him to be like in a later slot for people to make use of ardor, and then it's like, oh, actually, I'm a CP charger if you do that. So, maybe it's better to use them in like the 3rd slot so that you can consistently like refill people's charge meter after they see it. And it's like, oh, I hate you.
I'm under the impression that they balanced him specifically with Tanngrisnir in mind since they share the same quest, which means he's kind of only good with weapon changes and is designed to be that way. Maybe.
No.
Even though he looks like his kit is designed to be missing and attacking. In practice, it does seem like you just want bind, and he's not even the best source for it. And if you want to miss, I mean, it's fucking ardor. It's like 10 billion units out of that.
Yeah, if you don't have Tanngrisnir, this unit is actually dead weight in the farm quest because you won't be able to make use of ardor until the 2nd turn, and and he does like nothing on turns 1 and 3. So he's actually only useful for turn 2, which is crazy.
I feel like I have a lot more to say about Bigfoot, and something I'm out of words to say was Enigma.
Why does he have combo?
It's for the CP, I guess. Let me see what I wrote down.
It's only 10 CP!
It's 50 CP by the end of turn 2 with Ardor, if you decide not to use Bind at all. Okay, to his defense, he does have a broad range of like bonuses, even if like they're individually not that strong. He has damage amp, he has defense amp, he has a rate up amp, and he has charge fill, and he has a bit of healing too if you decide to actually heal it. He even has a bit of a buff mitigation, but it's like their main problem is just they're all too disparate in timings and sometimes even mutually exclusive. And it's, you know, they're not strong individually is the problem. Even if they're all together, it's like you're essentially just bringing like a unit like Fashionista Zabania before his evolution. You're just using it for general quest clearing without having anything in mind.
My God.
Yeah, you'll never use this unit if you actually know how to play this game. Let's just say that.
Does he have the same amount of amps as a Bigfoot?
I'm pretty sure Bigfoot has more, but let me see. He has
concentration and ardor, right?
Bigfoot has concentration, ardor, as well as like the dazzle advantage or whatever it was.
He actually has less amps. That's crazy.
While Enigma has ardor and weakness, except weakness that isn't even guaranteeable. What the fuck is this?
He has confusion.
I like that addition. Yeah, that saves him. I mean, it's totally worth attacking with now.
Dude, what the hell is this kit?
Oh my gosh, it's like we had so much enthusiasm with the 4 stars and now it's like crickets when we reach this section. I'm already out of notes and I didn't even say anything about it really.
Like, yay, he has the ability to take damage buffs now. But, like, his kit is, like, still, you know, a pile of garbage. And he's also intrinsically below range, so not even, like, a board viper or anything. You have to, like, extend his range if you want him to attack people, which kind of sucks. He's, like, so dependent on other people to make use out of.
I feel like he could have used some of Bigfoot's move phase and timings. It's kind of a reason why, despite Bigfoot having like shit effects, I still saw him as good because they're like super low committal. But Enigma kind of does the same effects, but is actually highly committal when it comes to positioning and choosing whether to attack or to miss.
Yeah, you have to commit to either one or the other. And I don't know. Well, you know, the bind thing only happens for the first 3 turns of a phase anyway, so after that you can just make him become a misspot.
Is the bind even worth it? It's like... I don't think it's worth it. What the fuck? You can't even do it half the time because he's below range. He's not going to be reaching most of the time.
It's worth it if you use Sphinx. And then he can't miss at all because he's magic range now.
Just don't use this unit. That's pretty much all I have to say about this. It's like you will only use this unit in the same situations you would use Babalon if you have nothing else and you don't watch these streams and you don't know how to play this game. It's like, except unlike Bigfoot, he's not going to give you a benefit all the time because he's just that shit. He's not bad, but he's like, he's very disappointing.
What did you rate him again? Like 2.5?
Yeah, I did.
What was Babylon's rating?
I think I gave her like 1, maybe. I think I highly rated the protection on missing at the time, I think. And, you know, having options to attack or miss, I think is a neat concept. So maybe I just inflated the opinion based on, what's it called? The options for switching between 2 different modes. But looking on it now, it's like both modes are kind of mid. And
you weren't ready for my hater aura.
Your hater aura. Honestly, I can see exactly where you're coming from in this. I might even hate Enigma's kit more than you at this point, because it's like, why did I even give him the same rating as Bigfoot? It's like, he's clearly worse.
But imagine the AR synergies. You can use the Citri, the 5-star Citri Fenrir run, and then you can remove these.
Oh my god.
With combo. Oh, it's all coming together.
He does nothing. He's a fucking useless ass unit. Like, his best feature is really just CP, which is like, that is alone kind of the best thing to invest in. The worst thing to invest in, like, seriously.
It's not even good either, because it contradicts, like, the fucking ardor trigger and also... Ugh.
Yucky.
It makes me appreciate Summer Arathun a bit more because at least his CP is like guaranteed to happen at the end of the turn, which gets ready for the next turn, and he can still like just keep doing, regular conquering shit.
Doesn't he like only apply his unction strengthening like once, and they might miss it or something? I guess that's one of his weaknesses. It's not gonna necessarily affect everyone. And I forget his unction timings. It's just like all around him whenever he attacks, right? So I guess it's easy to replay.
Something like that, yeah.
Enigma balls.
That's what I'm saying.
I have nothing else to say. Let's just please read the comments. Look at this.
What, you don't have any unit synergies to bring up?
Oz, you don't think like a Tanngrisnir and not even that. Like, what do you want me to say? Like, he's gonna be so good missing with other units. Like, what do you want me to say? He's so good. Ardor. Wow, yum. Never had that before.
Imagine copying his buffs with Fafnir. You can copy Glint and combo.
He already spreads Glint to everyone.
you can copy combo.
No. I hate it. Just read the comments. End this. Fucking Enigma sucks ass. Jeez.
Alright. Are becoming what he despite just a spoiler. Ready? What are you saying? Enigma balls. There we go. I'm on his peak. You just wait until its variant.
Sure, Jen.
Enigma balls are small. I usually go for chubby guys, but I really like Enigma, especially when he trash talks me.
Oh, for a second I heard that, especially when trash talks to me, which is like, yeah, I see it.
Is he the original or a secretary, the copy one? He's probably the copy one. Minor spoilers, but I don't think it really matters. His lines and his shop lines are like condescending, so I guess that implies that it's the one that we have.
But is the main one like not condescending or something?
I don't know. I think the main one just like lasers during more or something. Making me really grieve for not getting 5-star Qinglong. Yeah, I'm sorry. Qinglong is a really good unit. And Enigma is not.
You can use Enigma if you don't have Qinglong, so that you can feel even worse about not having Qinglong.
Dude, it's so crazy. You need someone else to fucking apply bind in a decent range, and Qinglong just like does that for free.
And also applies like resistance to it as well, just in case I reflect it. Actually, that was Star Mighty, wasn't it? Does he apply resistance? I don't think so. Yeah.
He just has purification weaknesses, I think.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Which is arguably more useful if you're gonna be taking hits than one defensive buff or like applying nullify bolt buff to hitting units.
If you want like Ardor and Guts, then just use Labe. Like what?
That's what I'm saying. Trying to steal Labe's job and he flops, as he should. Enigma does 3 jobs, Mighty does his offensive role better, SP Himavat does CP generation better, and Yamsujihiko does protection better. Hits 3 squares at once, and he is always available. At least Enigma can get offensive buffs now. Well, he trades that in for having 0 range. Actually, yeah. Because it's like... he goes from slash range to blow range. Yippee.
He's...
Better make good use of those.
Unusable. Don't use him.
Better make good use of those on miss skills. Wait, I just remembered. V. Jacob is a good thrust unit under special circumstances.
I mean, kind of, yeah. I use him in one of the footage here. He's kind of like mid, but he's like has a lot of synergies with a lot of units, so I end up using a lot.
Right?
He did. It gives him lets him apply freeze advantage to his allies, and forgot what else it did. Like that might be the only thing, honestly. But
I think it expanded his freeze range. It's now like a square around instead of left and right when he hits stuff.
No, I never attack with him. He's just there to look pretty and give buff reversal.
Alright. He's worse than a first-gen tycoon with a 3 guild AR equipped at CP generation.
Oh, actually, he's talking about leaked, I'm pretty sure. Let's see.
Yeah.
Well, it's not instant, so just by that, yeah. Like if a lot of half of his kit is dedicated towards CP gen and it's not even instant, then yeah, no.
Wait, Christmas you're wrong, OMG. Kicks Valentine Krampus under the rug.
So true.
What was that for? Congrats to Enigma for being the worst collective unit in Housamo.
No, he's not the worst, but he's like... We had such good units earlier in this discussion, but like, goddamn, even Bigfoot seems to shine better than Enigma, but we definitely have much worse units than Enigma.
I dislike him because he attempts to be a good unit, and he still flops.
Don't describe it like that. That'll make him more relatable.
Anyone with ruler is better than Enigma. That's crazy. I can also see it, like, because of team cost shit. Okay, those are all the comments on this lovely unit.
The discussion got real quiet when Enigma dropped. Alright, let's go. So, what do you think of this event, the variants, the art, the music, the duration, everything related to this event? What do you think?
This event sucks. The music is awful. More mountain shit, yippee. And also these 5-star banner units, gross. But I guess the 4-star kits are something that are nice to have.
They're unfortunately too good that you kind of have to pull on this banner, even though everyone else, including the other new 5-star, is like horrendous dog shit. Like, it kind of sucks that they're good because I was saving pretty well for both Valentine's and Summer one. I think I only did like one multi for each, and this one's just like the worst 5-stars you've ever seen in like 5 years, and fucking like you have to pull for it because the 4-stars are really good. Fuck that.
How many stones are you at right now?
I'm at 150-ish now, so I still have a bit left over for the next event, but that was definitely a bit careless of me to pull so late.
It's kind of funny. I think there's like actually more landmines in this banner than there are like actual good units. You have 2 good units. Yeah, you have 2 good units, and you have 3 awful or like extremely mid units to look out for.
But Zhao's so good though. The Zhao Kummies. I need them.
Okay, I don't know about that. That was very good. Himavat fucking sucks. Oh my god.
Definitely worse than Enigma by a long shot. But just like, I mean, he should be, but like, still, Jesus Christ. What is with this fucking permanent unit curse? Like, at least the golden lock got out of it. Deserved.
Yeah. I don't know. We've had so many bad 4-stars this year. Like, Belphegor, Baphomet, Himavat now, and like, kind of Hippolytus. I guess he's okay, because he can sort of do damage sometimes. Amana Jaku. Jesus Christ.
I forgot he existed. So, cool beans. For anyone who actually likes the characters, we're sorry. I mean, good on you.
This is just strictly kit-wise, alright? Unless
is it really strictly kit-wise?
Unless it's Enigma or Bigfoot or
Zhao's art and the Twinks, so like pretty much all of them except for Tanngrisnir, which is like, who cares about Tanngrisnir? Whatever. I have mentally shut down from this event now that I have Zhao, so I can begin the healing process.
How are you done with the shop?
No, I have just about finished the first set of items, and thankfully, well, it doesn't matter now that I have all the units, but the first units I got were all actually curated for the second set, so theoretically it would have been good so that I wouldn't have wasted any bonus. Oh well.
It's kind of wild. Like the disparity between like the best 5 strategies this year and like the worst. Just how different they are, and like.
You mean like Willie? Actually, Willie was probably the best one this year. I guess just Chenglong, but no, Willie's probably better than Chenglong, even though they're different roles.
Pretty close, I think. Chenglong is like really good, just like in almost every clip. So is Willie, so it's hard to say.
Yeah. I do think the disparity.
Oh my god, I forgot. Fucking Raven Arthur for one of the bad 4 stars.
There's just tons of bad 4 stars. I don't even think about them.
He just completely slipped my mind. That's crazy.
I mean, he was like unique because pretty much every other unit in that manner is quite good for something. Even to Shen, which is like kind of outdated now that Nyarlathotep and Zhao exist, but he's still nice to have for movement memes. But like, you know, when the first banner was like shit all around, it sticks out more when Raven Arthur was like the shittiest of both banners, and like he was among the best of them too. I don't know. I get what you mean. The disparities are crazy, but adds to the gacha experience more, I guess. I don't know. I'm done with this shit. I'm gonna go play some other game after this. Like, this is too much Osmo for me.
Wow, already feeling the burnout. I see.
I mean, you heard me breaking down about like after I skill seeded Sadio. It's like most pointless like shit I did just out of optimization's sake. Okay, I think we're holding our audience hostage enough. Why don't we go play Risk of Rain instead of carrying this on?
Really excited to not talk about this event anymore.
Well, I still have one more challenge stream to do, but other than that, yeah.
You know it's not going to be anything worth talking about.
It's not going to be worth talking about, but it's like, I don't know, I don't got it, but whatever. I'm mentally trapped in my habits. I'm broken. Let's get out of here, please. Alright, thanks for watching, everyone. Catch you next time on the playthrough of the challenge quests that should be releasing in the last week of this event. Hopefully your pulls have been better than mine was in the beginning. Honestly, they're pretty good overall for 300 pulls. But for those that are still pulling, hopefully you guys can secure whoever you want with the challenge quest tickets. And for those who are disappointed, hopefully the next and last event of this year before anniversary will actually not fail to disappoint. But yeah, we are heading out now. So on 3, 1, 2, 3. Bye-bye.
Yeah.